to Durham. I am Shabu, creator and lead conductor of Whistle Stop Tours. Here with the Emancipator, I am here to guide you through Durham's Hayti neighborhood, a self-sufficient, self-named neighborhood named and inspired by the island nation of Hayti. Today we are talking with community residents about challenging issues related to health equity and their solutions. Issues like poverty, food insecurity, and accessibility. Kayla, thank you so much for that offering of the jingle dress dance. I'm looking at you and I see an African American woman. Am I right?
Absolutely, yes. I am African American, and the thing about being Native here on the East Coast is that we're a triracial people. So you'll see Natives of all shades, of all different walks of life.
You're Wakamasuan, and as a member of the Wakamasuan tribe, can you share with us a little bit about why land acknowledgement is so important?
So land acknowledgement is super important just for the sake of knowing who we are and keeping us alive and knowing that we are still here. Because a lot of people come to North Carolina or live in North Carolina and don't realize that they are on Native land that belongs to different tribes here in North Carolina. So if people don't know that we even exist, then it pretty much erases us.
Thank you so much. I've learned so much from you.
Thank you.
I am here with Anita Scott-Neville, director of Hayti Reborn. Anita, would you please paint a picture of what Hayti looked like when you were growing up here?
My father was one of the business persons in Hayti.
Here in the center of Negro Durham, more commonly called Hayti, the lifeblood of the community is represented in this busy populace.
It was family. It was a neighborhood, it was an economic hub. And a couple of blocks over was where our historic Black Wall Street lived. That was a vital area, it was a safe area. It was an area where you could do anything from just come and get coffee in the morning, entertainment, lodging, a total and all-inclusive provisions, but specifically for the Black community here.
So when you look around the community now, in 2023, what do you feel?
Quite honestly, I feel a lot of sadness. I feel disappointment, I feel frustration, because the beauty that existed in my day does not exist. Let's just talk about where we stand. We're standing on the ruins of the Fayetteville Street projects. These slabs, for many years, were left to just fall down before they were ultimately taken down. Blight is physical, but then blight rests in your spirit. It rests in your heart. And the evidence of that, unfortunately, are our brothers and sisters sleeping on the streets, engaging in crime, engaging in drug commerce. Currently, there is an effort through Hayti Reborn to address the threat of total erasure of this community. As a matter of fact, Hayti Reborn has submitted a plan for the 19.4 acres that spans to our left and to our right here, which is historically the last remnants of Hayti. And that plan is residential, commercial, educational. The long-term goal is to revitalize this community There is a lot of community engagement going on right now to educate others so that our voice can be louder than the voice of the developers who are just waiting to bring in the bulldozers.
I have accepted the mandate. I will sit at the feet of you, Anita, and the other elders of this community. So, Ashley, we are here at School of Nursing Memorial Park. I mean, this area really is the former home of Lincoln Hospital. A lot of historians talk about it as the crown jewel of the community. It's a beautiful green oasis space, and yet we struggle getting up this entranceway. What does this have to do with inaccessibility?
So, as part of the Fayetteville Street Corridors project, we've been actually trying to activate this site and bring members of the community out as a green gathering space. But unfortunately, all access points to this space kind of resemble this, so they're inaccessible for our community members who may have physical disabilities that prevent them from climbing inclines or maybe in a wheelchair, use a cane. And with this being an older Black neighborhood, there's a lot of folks that fit into those categories who are being excluded from participating in what the park has to offer here.
Tell us why it's so important to address accessibility in this neighborhood.
So this is a historically Black neighborhood, and multiple marginalized folks live in this neighborhood. So there are folks at the intersection of disability, racism, and poverty.
Can you share more about what are the exact activities that the Fayetteville Street Corridor Fellows are engaged in here in the park, and how is that a solution to some of the health equity issues in the neighborhood?
So our first activation site is the Hayti Center, a couple of blocks up the road, and this is our second site. And we chose this site to kind of highlight the inaccessibility of the green space so that when folks come, we can draw up public attention to the fact that this is not an accessible space. And so we have like musicians and public art and storytelling, all types of activities out here to draw the folks from the street who live out here into the park. But again, if those spaces aren't accessible, it's harder for them to get up here and access.
I'm here at New Visions of Africa, formerly College Inn, a former Green Book site, with Baba Kasib. That's how I know you.
Right.
But what's your full name and your title?
Kasib Karim Abdullah, and I am the Executive Director of Believers United for Progress.
So we've been knowing each other for close to 15 years. I remember sitting at this booth, or the one behind me, with my son, and we would come here for waffles. And at that time, this was a restaurant.
Well, when we first started out, food was the nucleus of everything I ever did in my life. And from the restaurant, we kind of seen the needs of the community and kind of put the restaurant to a side.
So food was the entry point into being able to minister or nourish people's souls, for instance. What were people dealing with related to food? Was it just food, or were there other issues that you noticed was an issue in the community?
Well, this community was devastated with drugs, prostitution, and a lot of illegal things that were going along. I used to stand outside and I would speak to people. I was speaking to people and I knew that they wasn't going to speak to me right away. So it might have taken around about 3 weeks, a month, but now at least we are speaking to each other.
What's the impact that you've noticed as a result of providing food to the community?
Well, the largest impact is the way we treat each other. Because I am a person of the street, and I use this language, people of the street. That's the main people that we are dealing with, the community kitchen. people that are dealing with addiction, and I've dealt with addiction for over 30 years, but it got to a point where enough was enough.
Thank you.
What's the bigger vision? Where do people go next after they've been through your ministry?
We have to have a long-term plan to bring our communities back to self-sufficiency. There has to be community.
Here we are, right back where we started, at the Hayti Heritage Center, a national historic monument built in 1891 with these Richard Fitzgerald bricks. Today's experience could not have been possible without talking with community members who share their positive solutions to Hayti neighborhoods' most challenging health equity issues. Issues like poverty, food insecurity, and accessibility. And you are not just tourists and visitors. You are Hayti neighborhoods' witnesses to their history, their stories, and you are the next storytellers. So go and tell it.